distinction of being the safest city in the Philippines for the year 2017-2018. And very recently, the Honorable Mayor received the Climate Reality Leadership Award from the Climate Reality Project Philippines. To talk about partnership for building resilience and development through managing climate-related hazards, please welcome the Mayor of Ormoc City, the Honorable Richard Gomez.
Salamat. Maayong buntag, Mr. Hansi, Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, Ms. Mami Mitsutori, Senator Legarda, Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues in government. Ormoc is geographically and naturally at risk to climate hazards. Ormoc is one of the cities in eastern Visayas region frequently visited by typhoons with rainfall all throughout the year. Typhoons and monsoon rains result of flooding along the Pasagan River watershed, where agricultural lands and settlements are present. Typhoon Yolanda in 2013 raised storm surge alert 4 for Ormoc City, expecting 5 meters surge height. And Typhoon Oduha in 2017 of December brought floods, causing 2.6 billion pesos in damage to crops, both in upland and lowland areas. As a coastal city, beside the Pacific Ocean, typhoons and flooding remain part of everyday lives of us Ormocanos. Historically, there were 3 typhoons that affected Ormoc City. Typhoon Uring in 1991, resulting in a flash flood at the delta of Anilao River directly toward the city, wiping 8,000 lives within 45 minutes. Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, and Typhoon Oduha in 2017. Ormoc, as hub of development work in Eastern Visayan region, with its risk on climate hazard and historical damages, the city remains steadfast to direct the recovery of the city and its people. The city welcomes and engages a number of development partners throughout the years. We host the EDC, the geothermal power plant that produces 700 megawatts of renewable energy, and 44 hectares of solar power plant. The city believes that partnerships with development agencies and private institutions are an integral part of project development and success. Recently, we've been awarded the Blue Certificate from the Ombudsman, making Ormoc City a very business-friendly city. We are also the richest city in Eastern Visayas, and the PNP named us as the safest city in the whole country for 2 years in a row in 2017 and 2018. The Anilao and Balbasag Flood Control Project in 1998 to 2001, the JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, had assisted the city in construction of flood control project along the rivers Anilao and Malpasag. These controls have been successfully tested during Typhoon Gilas in 2003, when the same amount of rainfall as Typhoon Uring in 1991 was drained and no flood event is seen to the city center up until today. The development not only controls flood events, but also provides urban spaces for the people, promoting walkability and management of the river easements. The Community Evacuation Center, after Typhoon Yolanda, the UNDP, with funding from the European Union, assisted upgrading of facilities and equipment of City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. The program also assisted the city to mainstream response protocols and responses during disaster, such as adopting other families during evacuation, which was considered to be one of the best practices ever documented. Currently, the city further enhances the capacity of the CTRMO through further upgrades and purchase of new facilities, as well as continued support to its staff for training and development. For Evacuation Center, we'd like to thank the UNDP for giving us one, the D.P.A for giving one as well, and for the City of Ormoc, we've built 8 evacuation centers, because we believe that schools are always the refuge centers, and schools are not built for this kind of activities. Enhancement of the local climate change action plan. In 2016, the United States Agency for International Development, through its Be Secure program, had assisted in the development of local climate change action plan on top of its assistance to the development of our septage plant. From 10 million, we increased it to 30 million to make it semi-mechanized. By 2018, the United Nations Human Settlements Program assisted in the reformulation of the plan in order to align with the new standards and requirements coming from the national agencies, the DALG, and the Climate Change Commission. The plan emphasizes that the projected increase in rainfall will continuously put risk on the flooding areas of Pagsangaan River and coastal barangays with imminent possibility of storm surge during extreme typhoons. This plan will be the basis of formulating climate adaptation projects, particularly to climate-related hazards, flood, landslide, storm surge. After Yolanda, JICA said that they've been telling our leaders in government to invest in what they call in Japan as life centers. Congresswoman Lucy Torres Gomez of the 4th District of Leyte has filed a bill in Congress for this purpose. In Ormoc City, the Old Plaza Development, Malpasag Linear Park Development, and Canading Settlement Upgrading, with our continuous partnership with the UNHSP through building climate resilience, through urban plans and designs. The Old City Plaza complex of Ormoc had been redesigned to be able to capture, store, and reuse storm and surge water while remaining a space for socialization and economic activity. This project is already awarded and to be funded by the Department of Budget and Management, expecting the release of funds this December. Further, the easements along the Malpasag River will be developed as esplanade that will direct, collect, and reuse water to avoid flood events while taking advantage of the increased rainfall. The development will also provide space for informal economy to conduct their businesses. While the coastal settlement of Canading will be upgraded to secure from devastation of storm surge and flooding. Policies for climate change hazards, enactment of our own local ordinance number 32 dated May 25, 2017 requires all new developments to collect rainwater being monitored by our Office of the Building Official. Enactment of local ordinance number 2 dated August 18 of 2016 requires upgrade and proper construction of septage system of domestic and commercial development. Enactment of ordinance limiting sand and gravel extraction to certain hours of the day to mitigate over-extraction. Disapproval of subdivision projects in flood-prone areas. Now, Pagsangaan watershed planning. Flooding of the Pagsangaan River watershed is affecting a wide number of human settlements and agricultural land. Flood control, along with prevent flooding damages to 5,489 people by next year, 2019, and up to 23,480 by 2022. A diversion road in that area is being constructed by the DPWH. With this in mind, having 4 bridges and 36 10-foot box culverts to prevent it from obstructing water and instead provide direction to its waters. Resilience building is being opened. It is engaging all possible actors for development from the local to national to international partners. In the case of subdivision developments in flood-prone areas, there are suggestions to construct houses to conform with the terrain rather than conforming the natural land terrain to the subdivision. Key attitude is being imaginative and forward-thinking. It is doing beyond the business as usual cases, dreaming big and making it work. At the end, it all boils down to political will, with people's engagement, social acceptability, and actual participation of the people to the project development must be taken seriously into consideration. Our political powers, as mayor and other elected officials, must be weighed with the desire of our constituents. In Ormoc, even if Ormoc is one of the few cities in the world that is carbon negative, we are still one of the most vulnerable to climate hazards. We continue to do our share to change the game and continue a culture of resilience together with all of you. Thank you so much. Salamat. Maayong punta sa kanila.
Thank you, Mayor Richard Gomez. Naga City received its seal of good local governance with seal of child-friendly local governance from DILG and a consistent winner in the most competitive component city of the Philippines. To highlight the resilience pillar on sustainable local economy in Naga City, may we call on the Honorable Mayor, John Bonga.
Good morning. Maray na aga po sa Bus. What I did was I prepared a 7-minute video so that I will not be pressured with time